Hello you beautiful human beings. Today I'm doing quite a fun video. So if you don't know, I am turning 30 this month, August 2022. I almost said 2021, 2022. I'm turning 30, big 3-0, new decade. And when I was 26, I wrote a list of 30 things I wanted to achieve before I turned 30 years old. And I found this list the other day and I thought, why don't I revisit it and share with you guys how I've got on with my list of 30 before 30. We can look at the things that I did achieve, the things that I didn't achieve, and just have a little chat about it. I'm not going to go through all 30 things because I feel like it could be a really long video, but I'll just like dip in and out, pick a few bits and bobs, and we can have a conversation about them. And hopefully you might find this inspiring to create your own 30 before 30 or 40 before 40 list of things you want to do before you hit a certain birthday. Today I will be drinking a smoothie. We had a family barbecue yesterday, and you know, usually I'm drinking a cup of tea in these videos, but we had a family barbecue with some kids around and we have some smoothies left over. So I'm gonna have an innocent smoothie just for kids in peaches, passion fruits and oranges. And it's delicious. So I'm gonna drink this and work through my 30 before 30, which I have written down here. So meet David Attenborough, my hero. That one has not happened. And I did get quite close because there was, I think it was a WWF event where David Attenborough was there and I was invited to go, but I couldn't go because I wasn't here. I was abroad in a different country and I couldn't go to the event and meet David Attenborough. So I got close. I was invited to an event where he was there, but it hasn't quite happened yet, and I would blooming love to meet David Attenborough. He's like my #1 person I want to meet in my life. You know when people say, who's your dream dinner party guest? I always say David Attenborough. He's just, you know, an absolute living legend. And I'm sure if you guys know who he is, you understand how significant he is and the impact he's had on so many people's lives and on the world, the environment, the animals, and education around all those different topics. So I would just adore to meet him. And it hasn't quite happened. Next up, I've put skydive, and I did skydive. I skydived in New Zealand in 2020 over Lake Taupo, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. What an experience. Did the highest skydive you could do in New Zealand. I think it was like 18,000 feet. I might be getting that incorrect. We had to wear oxygen masks in the little plane as we went up because we were so high up. So yeah, it was really, really high, but I absolutely loved it. So I have ticked that one off my 30 before 30 list, which is great. I also said to write a vegan cookbook, and I haven't written like a hard copy one, but between when I wrote this list and now, I wrote a vegan ebook and a cookbook. I wrote 2. So I like to think that I did achieve that. Maybe it wasn't a hard copy cookbook, but I wrote 2 ebooks, and maybe 2 ebooks adds up to 1 cookbook. Let's say that. Go on another epic road trip. So I think I wrote this the year after I had been on my California road trip with Anna, and I had absolutely loved it. And I have to say, I haven't done too many specific road trips since then, but I did do one amazing one in 2019 where me, mum and dad went through Slovenia, Croatia and Montenegro, and it was so amazing to spend 2 weeks with my parents and just make those memories together. So yeah, I would say that I have been on another epic road trip, but not as many as I thought I would. I thought I'd do more road trips, but it's been more like going to one place, exploring there, etc, etc. So yeah, one big road trip has happened and it was amazing fun. Go on another solo travel trip, and I haven't achieved that. I have not achieved that solo travel trip, but I will achieve it before I turn 30 because I'm doing it in like 10 days time. So I'm going to the Dolomites. I'm going to the Dolomites next week at the time of filming, and the time this goes up, next week I'm going to the Dolomites. I'm doing 4 days with my friend, and I'm doing 4 days on my own afterwards. So that is a solo trip, and I will do it before I turn 30. So I will achieve that one, which is awesome. Have Stay Wild Swim be a roaring success and turn a profit. So I had only just launched Stay Wild Swim maybe 4 or 5 months ago before I wrote this list. So I obviously had no idea how Stay Wild Swim was going to turn out, and I'm so pleased to say that Stay Wild Swim has really come into its own and become such a business, which I am so proud of. Like everything we've achieved with that company. Since I wrote this list, we've done London Fashion Week twice, we've been in Vogue, we've achieved the Forbes 30 Under 30 entrepreneur list, we've become a B Corp. The business has just gone from absolute strength to strength, and I'm so proud of even just like how our designs have evolved and how our brand has shifted from being like a high fashion brand to more of a obviously still a luxury brand, but in the outdoor wild swimming space rather than the editorial space. And I just feel like I'm really, really, really proud of everything that Stay Wild has achieved. And it's crazy to think back when I wrote this list and I was just hoping that it would survive and turn a profit, and now I'm like, wow, we're four years in or so and it's doing so well. So yeah, really, really, really proud of Stay Wild, and so glad that it's grown to the place that it is today, and I hope it continues to grow. Climb a legit mountain. What did I mean by legit mountain? Great question, but I have climbed a lot of mountains since then, so should we say I've achieved that? I haven't climbed like a 6,000 metre mountain or an 8,000 metre or anything big, but I've climbed a lot of mountains, so maybe that counts. This is an interesting one. I wrote, start saving for my retirement, organise my finances, invest, understand my taxes and VAT. I'm finally getting there on this one. So that's good. Clearly when I wrote this list, I was slowly starting to get my money in order. But yeah, definitely between then and now, I feel like I'm in a really good place where like I understand my finances, I can make sense of my money, and I know what my financial goals are in both the short and long term. So since I wrote this in April 2019, I have achieved that. I've definitely like made a good crack on especially my pension and investing money for the long term. So can't say I fully understand taxes and VAT, especially VAT. Do not enjoy VAT. But I have started saving for my retirement, organising my finances and investing. So I'd say that's pretty good progress since then. Skinny dip everywhere I go, which has ocean access. You know what? When I first wrote this, I then did do a lot of skinny dipping. I would say that almost every place that I went, I was skinny dipping. But then I started travelling to places where I was wild swimming in lakes, etc., where there's lots of other people around the lake. And I feel like I stopped skinny dipping everywhere. So I haven't skinny dipped in every place that I've been, but this has reignited the desire to me to skinny dip in more places. So I think I might have to, because I do love a skinny dip. Like the other day, maybe 6 weeks ago, when I was in Montenegro leading a group hiking trip, a few of us did a skinny dip one day, and I was like, God, this is so fun. And we did a skinny dip in the Amalfi Coast. So I have skinny dipped a lot, but it's not every single place that I've been. And if you haven't skinny dipped, you need to try it. It is so much fun, so much fun. Oh, I haven't achieved this one. Build back up my pull-up strength. So I remember when I wrote this, I was able to do like between 6 and 10 pull-ups, and now I can probably do 1 or 2. So I definitely have not achieved that. And be able to comfortably run 10 kilometers. I don't think I've achieved that. I typically run like 5 to 8k. I think if I push myself to 10k, I could do it, but it would not be comfortable. So I would say those 2 fitness goals have been ones that I haven't really focused on or tried to achieve in a more determined way. So yeah, I haven't done that. Haven't built up my pull-up strength, haven't been running 10k's easily. So I did actually, obviously in 2020 when it was lockdown, I did really get into running, and I really enjoyed running, and I ran a half marathon for fun, and I was really comfortably running like between 10 and 17k runs, finding it pretty easy because I was in such a cycle of running, because it's all I could really do during that time when we were all in lockdown, and the only reason you could leave the house was to exercise. So I really got into running then. But then since I moved to Surrey and went from running on tarmac to running on trails, I find that I just run a little bit less because it's so much harder. It's so much harder running on trails than it is running on tarmac. So yeah, I probably run like twice a week between 5 and 8k. So I'm not running half as much as I was in lockdown. So I kind of did achieve being able to run 10k comfortably, but only for a short period of time, and I can't do that now. But I did do that in 2020. Photograph 31 sunsets in a month. That was such a nice idea. Shame I've never done that, because that's a nice thing to do. And today's the 1st of August, so maybe I should start photographing sunsets today. But yeah, I have not achieved that one. Visit 50 countries in total. At the time of writing this list, I'm on 46. So I have an app which tracks how many countries you've been to. It's called Bean. I don't know if you've heard of it. If you haven't, you should check it out. This is what it looks like. You can track it on the global map. And it tells me that I've traveled to 57 countries and my goal was 50. So yes, I've definitely achieved that goal. 57 countries, but there's a hell of a lot that I haven't seen still, so I'm excited to continue to explore. Visit the Galapagos Islands. Oh, I am not gonna do that before I turn 30, but I'm definitely gonna do that in my lifetime. The Galapagos Islands is in my top bucket list destinations in the world. It's just incredible. I actually did just book it, and you're gonna think I'm crazy when I tell you when I just booked it for, but for July 2024. Me and my mum and my dad and aunt, we're all going to go to the Galapagos together, and we've booked it, and we're going to live on boats and do diving and land-based stuff. And yeah, we've booked it for 2 years' time, literally 2 years from now we've booked it. So I'm not doing it before I'm 30, but I am going to do it in my lifetime, and it is booked before I'm 30, so kind of counts. Get my hip tattoo removed. Wow, I must have really not liked it back then. So I have a tattoo like across my right hip. It's some writing that I got done when I was 18 years old. And I have to say, of all my tattoos, I have 7 tattoos. It is my least favourite, because it's the one that I got like a few days after I turned 18 and I just really wanted one. And it's just not done in the way that I like my tattoos done now. I prefer stuff like this where it's more fine line. And this is quite like chunky and the letters are blurring together, and I'm not just so keen on it. But I wouldn't say that I need to get it removed. Maybe one day I'll get it removed, but I think maybe when I wrote this list I just wanted to get it gone. But it's not urgent for me to remove that tattoo, and even if I never remove it, I'll be fine with it, because I just think a tattoo represents the time in the life when you got it, and that represents to me like me turning 18, me being in university, me being just in that phase of my life where I wanted that tattoo, and it does have meaning to me. So maybe I'll remove it one day, maybe I won't. I'm not really too fussed either way. Oh, this is a really nice one. Move into our next home. And yes, I'm in that home right now. We've been in this house for 2 years. So if I wrote this in 2019, we moved into this house in 2020. So we moved into this house the next year. And I'm so obsessed with this house, with living in Surrey, with having a garden, with having the ability to have a house which has a cat, so being able to have Bella in our life. So yeah, we did move into our house the year after I wrote this list, so that makes me really happy, and it's probably one of the things which I am the most proud of. Like, I just love our home, I love where we live, and I love the life that we have here. So definitely one of my proudest achievements that I've had before I turned 30. Just creating this home with Ant, and yeah, having our little family with Bella. Learn how to properly use my camera and edit photos. I have not really achieved that. Like, I still shoot on auto on my big massive Canon with the big lens, and I was so close to booking myself onto a photography course. Actually, I booked myself onto a 1-day photography course and I felt like it wasn't quite enough, and I was close to booking myself onto an even longer like multi-day course. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad that I didn't achieve this before I turned 30, because if you're on social media now, you'll know that things have shifted so much. And Instagram isn't really a photo platform anymore. It's trying to become more like TikTok, and it's more video focused. And also the trend on Instagram right now is to not really do professional photos. It's more like casual, candid photos that are shot on phones, and that actually the algorithm favors more casual content than more curated, perfect content. So I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't spend money on doing a course and learning how to properly use my camera because yeah, social media has evolved so much since then, and now it's so much more video focused. So maybe I should change that goal and make it to be better at making videos. Go on a retreat where I am not the trainer, fully relax and switch off. Have I done that? I don't think I've done that. I would love to do that though. I'd love to book on to like a weekend in Ibiza where like people cook you really healthy food and take you through workouts and yoga and stretching, and I could just go and have a digital detox and be rejuvenated. But I have not done that, and I'm not going to do that before I turn 30, so nah, that didn't happen. And the last one that I will mention is having my family around to my house for Christmas. And I'm not going to achieve that before I turn 30, but I am going to achieve that this year. One of my biggest goals has always been to be able to have my family in my own home for Christmas one day, and this is the year. This is the year. Last year, Ant had his family here, but I went up to Yorkshire because I hadn't had Christmas the year before in Yorkshire because of the pandemic, and I really missed that Yorkshire Christmas. So I went back, had a nice Yorkshire Christmas like I've always known and loved, and then I said to Mum and Dad that year, I said, how do you feel about next Christmas maybe coming down to Surrey? And they loved the idea. So we're going to have my mum, my dad, my brother, and then we're going to have Ant's family, his whole side, which is a lot more. So my family is quite small. Ant's got quite a big family, so I think it will be a hectic Christmas day, but I am so excited to just have a house full of love and family, and just there'll be children there as well. I haven't spent Christmas with children ever. Have I ever had a Christmas day with young kids? I don't think I ever have. So I think it'll be really nice to kind of see Christmas through their eyes and to experience it in a new environment. As much as I love the tradition of me going back to Yorkshire and experiencing Christmas with my parents and like the way that we do Christmas, I think it'd be quite exciting to make some new traditions and to have a fresh Christmas experience here in our house in Surrey, and to combine our two families together. It'll just be such a lovely experience. It will be chaotic, it will be stressful, and I'm quite scared about the cooking. But besides that, I'm really, really, really excited to have our first Christmas in this house. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that is a big goal, which I wrote for my 30 before 30, and no, I haven't achieved it before I'm 30, but I'm achieving it in my 30th year, in the year that I am 30. So that's really exciting, and I'm really, 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 really looking forward to it. So if you have any tips on how to survive hosting like 15 people in your house at Christmas, please let me know down below. I know it's August, but send help, I'm nervous. So yeah, I didn't go through everything that was on my 30 before 30 list that I wrote, but it was so interesting to go through it and to just see how far I've come in certain aspects and how my priorities have changed in other aspects, and the things that I really wanted to achieve back in 2019 when I was 26, 27, and the things that I've been focusing on since then, and how like, yeah, everything has changed, the trajectory's changed. Between then and now we've had a whole pandemic, and like the whole world has changed. So it's really, really interesting to reflect back. So I really, really strongly encourage you guys to sit down, look at your next milestone that you have. Maybe it's turning 25, maybe it's turning 30, maybe it's turning 35, maybe it's turning 40, whatever it is. Write a list of things you want to achieve between now and then, and it's such a nice thing to look back on and reflect on. And even if you don't achieve those things, it's just nice to have an insight into where your head was at the time that you wrote the list, and you can reflect on, as I said, how your priorities and the things that you've been focusing on have changed in that time period. So I'm definitely going to write myself a fresh list of 40 before 40, and I'm excited to see what I achieve in this next decade and the things that are going to be my priorities as I come into my 30s. Blooming heckers. Big, big, big times, guys. Proper adulting. Bring it on. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit thumbs up, please leave a comment down below, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Have a good day.